Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
Good morning, I'm Jeff Kellam. Welcome to this week's edition of Encounter. I serve as the Parish Associate at the Union Presbyterian Church in Endicott, which is, as a matter of fact, just a couple of blocks from here. A little bit of personal history. I grew up about 3 houses down from this very spot where I'm standing near Mercer Park, which is near the Union District of Endicott. Took my first steps just down there on Loder Avenue. So we're at Mercer Park because this is the newest of the VINES gardens. There are some 18 gardens, and the newest one is here in Endicott. This one is particularly unique, and we'll be hearing more about that. And let me share with you the mission statement of VINES, Volunteers Improving Neighborhood Environments. VINES is an organization committed to developing a sustainable and just community food system. We do this by bringing together diverse groups of people with a focus on youth development, to establish community gardens, urban agriculture, and community green spaces. We strive to develop and beautify urban sites and empower community members of all ages and abilities. The essence of VINES' work is in these 4 words: growing food and growing community. So we're literally on the road, and that will become pretty evident when we move to one of the gardens at Otsiningo Park, which, as you know, is right there near the highway. So we couldn't stop the traffic, and that's where the park was, so that's where we did our program. In fact, they're about to do some mowing here in Mercer Park, so I'm getting this done just in time. So we'll be traveling around to a couple of gardens and meeting some of the VINES gardeners, and stay tuned. You're going to learn a lot about a sense of community and feeding our hungry neighbors.
Okay, my name is Christina Zawerucha, and I am the Community Garden Program Manager for VINES. Well, I actually moved here on February 1st. I was teaching urban agriculture at a public career and technical education high school in New York City. And I had some profound dreams and signs that told me to move back to Binghamton and work for VINES, running community gardens. And my family thought I was crazy for coming out here and leaving a good paying job to move to Binghamton. March 15th, everything got shut down because of COVID. And so I just feel so grateful to find myself working with an amazing organization like VINES. It's such an incredible team of people working with a really fantastic mission of building community and growing food. And this work is considered essential. So I found myself actually right in the middle of a huge sea change in terms of people's relationship with community gardening. We right now have, and I want to check the numbers correctly, we have 284 households gardening in 387 garden beds. We have about 410 garden beds across the Triple Cities area. We have 18 different community gardens. The garden you're visiting today is Otsiningo Community Garden. It's actually the oldest garden in Broome County as far as community gardens go. And we just took over management of them this year.
It's Debbie Konnick.
Okay, and Debbie, tell me about your role here at VINES.
I am a site coordinator up here at the Otsiningo Gardens. What I do is I help maintain the pathways, make sure that everyone is following the rules and guidelines of VINES, which is no pesticides, all organic is how we want to keep it. If there's an announcement to be made, like wood chips need to be spread, coming up after the email has been sent out, making sure that there's people volunteering to do the spreading of the chips, weed whacking, and tonight we're going to be changing all the faucets to brass faucets. That's another thing we're going to be doing. So this year, Otsiningo Community Gardens joined with VINES. We're under their umbrella. They handle all the money, all the paying of the bills. By combining, we were able to incorporate one insurance company. We were able to save on secretarial work, computer programs, all that sort of thing. So Otsiningo Gardens is the name of the gardens up here, but we are under the VINES umbrella, and that is new as of this year. So our in-ground plots are 20 by 20, and they are $25 from mid-May to the end of October. You get all the water. Faucets are all over the gardens. We have wheelbarrows if you need wheelbarrows. And up here, the raised beds, we have the handicapped raised beds, which are wheelchair accessible. And then we have the normal raised beds. These were just put in last year because our population is getting older and more people want to go to the raised beds. They can't do the harder work in the ground. And next, if you follow all the guidelines and come back next year, you get first dibs on the plow or the raised bed that you want. We have had a lot more people this year. We filled up much faster than we have in previous years. And the quantity that people are growing is a lot more. Instead of one plot, they're taking 2 plots. So they have excess in their freezers come winter.
So my name is Innocent Achari. I am from Kenya. I'm a student at BU. I'm a graduate student doing chemistry. Okay, so first of all, I'll acknowledge my friend who passed on last year. He was called Stephen Odongo. He always used to garden and bring us food as students. And after he passed on, I wanted to do some gardening with Father Fred near St. Thomas Aquinas. But then unfortunately my dad passed on, so I had to travel home in Kenya. And by the time I came back, the place we had already started digging and preparing, he planted there. And I benefited from the same. My dad was a very good farmer, I can say so. And as I grew up, we always went to the farm to plant. We could plant corn, just like the one that you can see over there. We could plant beans. We could plant in our courtyard or home yard. We could also plant vegetables for the meal for the day. So I learned how to do the farming before I even came to the US. And Father Fred also told me that, okay, there's still some more plots here at VINES, at Otsiningo. And I told him, okay, please, can I get one? So he organized for me, and I got one of the plots, and this is his 2 plots here. And we started doing the digging, all the preparation and planting.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So what do we see here?
So what we see here, these are kales and the collards that we are planting, and this one we call it a spinach in our language. Okay? And then we have the tomatoes over there. Okay, so we haven't put the sticks to hold them together, but we are planning to do it this week. Each week we dedicate almost every evening 1 hour if we can to come and do something. So sometimes we do weeding, sometimes we just simply spray the water and make sure that we have watered them well, because it's a lot. So our intention is to harvest some for ourselves, and to also donate some of them to fellow students in BU who also know about this, who can be able to cook. Good. Yeah, and also to give them to the Catholic charities and even the food pantry in BU if they can accept them. That's our intention, yeah. Yeah.
Otsiningo Garden Site Coordinator Debbie Konnick tells what gardening help you can find at the VINES website, which is simply vinesgardens.org.
Well, yes, Vines runs all kinds of online programs, and they have, right now they're online, but they do have, like, in their, the Lee Barta Community Center, they will have programs. They will offer on-site programs at the different gardens they have throughout the neighborhoods. Seedling 101, how to grow your seeds, you know, garden maintenance, what you need to have a healthy tomato plant, you know, pick the suckers, take the bottom leaves off. And up here, and what they try to do is a new gardener, we try to put next to a seasoned gardener.
Oh,
so you can get a lot of tips from the people around you.
right.
There are so many different gardens. Right now we have 18 different community gardens. All of them have different stories and different personalities and different groups of people, but each of them is beautiful in their own way. And so Otsiningo is unique because it is our largest community garden. It's the one garden that has in-ground plots that are 20 feet by 20 feet. And so a lot of people who come from different backgrounds and farming in different cultures, they prefer to grow here because it's more similar to the agroecological traditions that they grew up with. So one of the reasons why I love this garden is that you can have somebody from Italy talking to somebody from Ukraine, talking to somebody from Kurdistan, sharing ideas with somebody from Senegal. And you see people sharing seeds, sharing recipes, teaching each other about foods that they didn't know about before.
Right.
So that's why I love this garden.
You want to come in?
Am I allowed?
Yeah.
The bunnies?
Yeah, you can come in. You're not going to eat my produce.
Only if I'm lucky. This is Giuseppina DiRenzo. She has been gardening here for how many years?
Probably 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
And why do you choose to garden in Otsiningo Community Garden?
Because I grew up on a farm and I like the vegetable and I like to grow your own produce.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun to work on a garden and healthy and see stuff grow every day and it's fun.
Where was the farm you grew up on?
In Italy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, yes.
So are you growing Italian goods?
I grow everything. Italian, American. The people share beans from other country and I like everything.
Oh, yes.
I have a cucumber, a peppers, that's from Italy. And I have, this is called cardon. It's some produce we grow in Italy and you cook and you can make with the eggs and beans or whatever you like it. And that's from something we grow from Italy. And I have about 100 tomato plants. And I hope it's coming okay because I don't know, sometimes the disease will take over.
Yeah.
So I work every day. Yeah.
You come over an hour every day?
No, maybe 3-4 hours.
Every day?
Yeah. In the morning and then I come on the night.
Yep.
The other thing that's great about this garden is that we have raised beds like you would traditionally see at the other Vines gardens. And then we also have all access beds, which are more easily accessible for people with limited mobility. So if people have trouble bending down or need to use a wheelchair, they can use these all access beds. Yeah, so I do love this garden. The Mercero Park garden is really unique. That's the one in Endicott. And this is the first season for that garden as well. That's managed by Cynthia Knight and Terry Dole, who kind of spearheaded their community to create a community garden in Endicott. What's special about that garden is that it has what's called a radial design. So instead of just, straight cookie cutter, it's actually designed in intermingling circles of raised beds. It's also special because due to COVID, there were furloughs in the water department, and so the gardeners were warned that there would be no running water anytime in the foreseeable future. So we worked together with Tom Egan from Access Unlimited to design a rainwater harvesting system, which the gardeners were using up until the actual water line got installed.
So there is a
recently.
water line now.
There's a water line, but the gardeners still want that rainwater harvester there, and they are still using it. So that is a really special garden. And the Mather Street Garden, I think, really exemplifies what most of our community gardens are like. You know, they've got about 12 raised beds that are 4 feet wide and 10 feet long. It's in a community that wanted to beautify its neighborhood. It's north of Main Street. And you've got a good mix of people from different backgrounds growing together there. And you'll see that their site coordinators, Davita Richardson and Josh Enderly, have done a really great job of coordinating all these different people to really maintain that garden space.
This is Mather Street Community Garden. I coordinate this with another fellow named Josh. We came about doing this ourselves this year. Wanted to be involved in the community, like food sustainability, how to get fresh vegetables for myself and my children is a big part of now where I'm trying to get to. So
do your kids help out?
Yes. My granddaughter actually says it's her garden. She tells me I have nothing to do, this is my garden, so I let her go. Yeah. My son, my daughter, they picked out what they want, they come over, they tend it, they water, because we live right across the street. Yeah. So it's awesome.
Do they actually do some work?
Yep.
Do they plant? And so
yes. Yep. And we have grow bags in front of our house.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So what we're not doing here in the garden, we're also doing in front of the house. I just want to teach them, if they know how to grow their own fresh vegetables, tend their own gardens, know what's right for them, then they'll be able to sustain themselves.
Right.
And then I've been watching a whole lot of stuff, Farming While Black and stuff like that. One of the quotes by Kissinger was, "He who controls the food controls the people." Yeah. So I want to control my own food source. I want to control myself, be able to think for myself and this is part of the next piece of the puzzle where we're going now as a community. A lot of people, some of us have, like I have 2 beds, another person has a couple beds, but I'm a part of Binghamton Food Rescue. So some of the things that I grow also goes to feed the community. We started doing a couple buckets in the front where hopefully we'll have some tomatoes that we can give to the community. Yeah. Our goal, we have a shared pantry that some of us keep stocked to help if somebody, some people may be shy about going to food pantry. Some people may be shy about even asking for help from a family member. Yeah. And here, even if it's in the middle of the night and you're hungry, you can always come get a snack. You can come grab something, and we just hope to let the West Side know that we think about them because we're a part of them. Yes. So we know exactly what they're going through because we're going through the same things. Yep.
Davita Richardson mentioned Binghamton Food Rescue. Here's Casey McGowan, who volunteers with that program.
Great. So I am a volunteer with Binghamton Food Rescue. We've been around. We just had our 4-year anniversary. Basically, we're trying to mitigate food waste. So getting food waste from farmers markets or grocery stores or gardens into the hands of people that need it, especially those that have less access to fresh and local produce. So what we've started here is there are a few plots that are going unused this year that weren't rented by anyone in the community. So instead of just leaving them for the weeds, we are cultivating the plots, and we're just going to give away the food for free through our volunteer group. We'll just be setting up the beds, getting them planted, and then maintaining them through the season. And throughout the season, as things come in, we'll harvest them and we will pass them out at our Saturday distributions. And any excess we have of that, we've been able to give to some churches and different programs in Binghamton. Okay, so my background is I went to culinary school several years ago, and I was working in the food service industry. Recently I was living in Ithaca, and I came across a food rescue organization, and I joined them, and I kind of never looked back. I always was pretty annoyed about the food waste we would encounter in kitchens, restaurants, and anywhere there's food. there's so much waste and it's all unnecessary. So I've been excited about getting involved and getting that food to people who need it, because you know, we're set up in a capitalist society that kind of, you know, profits are more important than people, so we end up getting all this waste, and especially food waste, that is unnecessary. So we did work with Chow for a little while, delivering their emergency food boxes, and then we worked with Catholic Charities. The only problem with that was there was a severe lack of fresh produce, mainly because restaurants would close and give food away, but then they'd run out pretty quickly of the fresh stuff. And that's what really people are gunning for, and they really want. They want to eat healthy, and especially when there's a pandemic, you want to be as healthy as you can, and part of that is being able to eat healthy. So now that we're in the season where the farms are up and running, the farmers markets are going, some of the restrictions have been relaxed so that we can have in-person distribution. We're still distancing 6 feet apart. We give out masks. We offer hand sanitizer. We take COVID-19 very seriously. We want to keep our community safe, but we do realize that part of that is getting them food. So this garden is just an extension of that.
Once again, today's program on Encounter is about VINES, volunteers improving neighborhood environments, growing food, growing community. There's an awful lot of traffic noise because we're recording much of our program at Otsiningo Park, and it's right alongside the interstate. Our guests today are from VINES, and we appreciate their sharing their stories with us on Encounter.
My name is Afua, A-F-U-A, Afua Davis. Well, normally every summer we'll go to Africa, but because of coronavirus we couldn't go, and we wanted something that we won't just be sitting home, but to be involved in our community. And one of her mentors gave us information about the VINES, so we've been coming to the different gardens, and we're just having family time while getting to know other people in our community as well.
Will you eat everything you grow?
Yes, I'm actually planning. We got garlic on Tuesday, right? Yeah. So yeah, we like fresh fruits, so yes.
Yeah. Are you growing anything you don't want to eat?
Aloe. She's growing aloe, and she uses it on her skin, and she puts it in her hair, so yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Natural.
Good.
I especially want people that are home and feeling like they're nothing to do, just stuck at home. No, you're not stuck at home. There's so many ways you can give back to the community, and you get to meet other people who are just as generous-hearted.
Right.
You know, so.
And then you get the harvest.
Yes, and then you get the fruit of your labor.
It's really fun that we all get to do it together. You see other families there too, and you get to meet them. Nice. My favorite part is like going home knowing that I did something for the community, and you know, I like nature. So.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we're learning different methods. Like they have this cardboard method where they put it on top of the ground, and then once they do that and the weeds underneath die, then they can use the soil for something else.
Right. So is there a class that you go to, or does this happens on site?
This happens on site.
And like I said, our community gardens are mostly full. A lot of people started what I would call panic gardening when COVID hit. And I think it's really important. You've got people who have, lost their jobs and want to know where their food is coming from. You have kids who are stuck home from school with nothing to do. And so right now everybody is community gardening. And we even went so far as to develop something called the Build a Garden program, because the community gardens were full and we still had people calling trying to get garden beds. And so we started building garden beds at people's homes. So for people who live in Binghamton, Endicott, and Johnson City, the Build a Garden program, if you sign up on our website, vinesgardens.org, you can sign up. Right now we have a mission to build 20 community gardens by 2020. So right now we're at 18. The United Presbyterian Church on 42 Otsiningo Street weren't managing their garden because they had to shut down a lot of their operations. So now we've opened that up to community gardeners, but that's only temporary. So yeah, we're looking to be building more gardens before the end of the year.
Yes, everything in here is something that we eat. And it was actually a debate.
Once again, Mather Street Gardens' Davita Richardson.
Oh, no, I don't want it. And my son doesn't eat tomatoes, but he doesn't know that I put tomatoes in some stuff, and he doesn't ever have to know about it. He doesn't. No, he doesn't know salsa's made out of tomatoes. Like, I don't want tomatoes, but he'll eat a whole jar of salsa. So, and that's what this is. You know, we do fried cabbage the other day, because I also do their farm share through Vines. So we had kale, collard greens that came out of my garden, and cabbage that I got from the urban farm, and I mixed those all together, and that was, you know, we had dinner, and they had a fresh dinner, again, organically grown local.
So one thing I want to say is that these community gardens, it's still about the community, right? And so even if you don't have a community garden plot this year, we would still love to have volunteers come out and support the community gardens. So we have volunteer work days just like today, every single day of the week. So if you go to the Vines website or subscribe to our weekly emails, you can find opportunities where, just like Afua's family, they come out every week and volunteer. This is a great way to get to know your neighbors. This is a great way to learn how to grow food and how to care for vegetables and how to care for each other. So if you'd like to volunteer, please do check out our website, vinesgardens.org. Please get involved with volunteering at community gardens. We also need help with the community meal and the farm share distribution. There are so many different ways, you know, to feed your soul and to feed your neighbors during this challenging time. So thank you.
So that's part of the story of Vines, and we appreciate your joining us for this program, kind of documentary about the work of volunteers improving neighborhood environments, growing food, growing community. I'm Jeff Kellam, the Parish Associate at the Union Presbyterian Church in Endicott. Thanking you very much for being with us and appreciating the work, of course, of WBNG TV and the Town Square media stations for playing the audio portion of our program. I hope that in the coming week, you will be gentle with people and with yourself.